Hello, and thank you for your interest in the U.S. National Values Assessment. In 2009, as a gift to the new Obama administration, the Barrett Values Centre conducted a national values assessment utilizing our cultural transformation tools. These tools allow us to measure and map values in order to study the cultures of nations, government and municipal agencies, communities, organizations, and schools. In 2010 and in 2011, we again conducted national values assessments to see how the American perspective has changed in the course of this administration. This presentation discusses the evolution of the nation's values in 2011 as compared to 2009. In 2011, 1,505 U.S. participants were surveyed, as compared to approximately the same number of participants in 2009. We targeted our respondents so as to create a sample that was statistically valid and accurately represented U.S. population demographics. The first question posed was, please select 10 of the following values or behaviors that most reflect who you are, not who you desire to become. The values here in the upper box represent the values which received the most votes and that remained consistent with those selected in 2009. Notice here that patience was among the top personal values in 2009, yet fell out of focus by 2011. Are we becoming less willing to wait for change? There are a few other key messages here. First, relationships are a central focus in our lives, and we work to make a difference for the people we care about. Second, we take ownership of our actions and do what we say we will do. And third, we appreciate our freedom and our autonomy. These are the core values of the people of the U.S. When we are living consciously, these are the values that guide our decisions. Another significant issue comes to light in the value of accountability. Accountability increased by 6% of the vote since 2009 and jumped from the 9th position to number 6 among our personal values. Taking ownership of the outcomes of our actions is becoming more and more important. The next question posed was, please select 10 values or behaviors that most reflect how your organization currently operates. If you are not currently employed, please rate your previous organization. The values here in the upper box represent the values which received the most votes and that remained consistent with those selected in 2009. A few key messages are illustrated here. Number 1, we understand the need to take ownership of our actions and to be financially responsible. 2, we work together to serve the needs of our customers and communities. And 3, accomplishment is important to us. The degree of cultural entropy represents the percentage of overall votes for what we call potentially limiting values. This means that 14% of our efforts are unproductive, a degree of entropy that calls for minor monitoring and adjustment. Entropy is down by 1% since 2009. However, bureaucracy, a potentially limiting value, now appears among the top organizational values. The number of values matches, in this case the number of current culture values that participants would also like to see in their desired culture, increased from 6 to 7. 7 or more values matches indicate that people have a high degree of confidence in the direction their organization is taking. When asked, please select 10 of the following values or behaviors that, in your opinion, are essential for your organization to achieve its highest performance, the values shown in the upper box are those which received the most votes and remained consistent with those selected in 2009. Note that open communication, efficiency, and professionalism, values pertaining to relationships, performance, and processes, have been replaced by coaching, mentoring, and community involvement, values that represent helping others and serving a greater good. This graphic maps the desired culture values to a balanced scorecard, what we call the business needs scorecard. This clearly shows desire to move away from performance or fitness emphasis and place greater attention to societal contribution. Respondents were next asked, please select 10 values or behaviors that most reflect how society currently operates in the USA. These are the values that were selected. Again, the values listed in the upper box reveal the issues that were consistent from year to year. The values listed in red are considered potentially limiting values, or those values that erode performance in any given culture. The results show that our perception of our national society is drastically different from what we experience as our core values and our daily working lives. Cultural entropy here is at a critical level and has risen since 2009, though it is lower than its peak of 58% in 2010. This level of entropy signals possible civil unrest and the need for drastic change. Blame now tops the list of values people attribute to our nation. Bureaucracy and wasted resources round out the top 3 values. There is an alarming lack of accountability, and people are frustrated by slow-moving systems. Some good news: corruption, while still a top concern, falls from the number 1 position to number 4 among the national values. Material wealth is still a factor in our lives, yet we squander our available resources. Unemployment and crime violence continue to trouble the nation. In 2011, Americans are more concerned that we are expending our efforts on short-term thinking rather than on creating long-term solutions, as short-term focus emerges as a new top value. When we look at political party affiliations, we see common frustrations in all parties. The bolded check marks representing blame, bureaucracy, corruption, materialistic, and wasted resources indicate that those values are experienced by every political party. While we are not alone in our frustrations, it is clear from values assessments in other nations that improvement is possible. We must understand that entropy has a price tag. With a cultural entropy rate of 56%, that leaves 44% of efforts that are positive and constructive. Currently, the U.S. produces a $14.7 trillion GDP on that 44% of positive energy. The healthiest culture in the Western world measured so far is Denmark, with a cultural entropy rate of 21%. Just imagine the positive impact on the economy and quality of life for American citizens if we were able to move the U.S. score in that direction. Our final question was, please select 10 values or behaviors that you would most like to see in the USA. Again, the values in the upper box show commonalities between 2009 and 2011, while the lower boxes reveal how our perspective has changed. We continually seek thoughtful planning, a healthier job market, and support for the people who have the least. We also want to focus on building a peaceful nation. However, in 2011, we're asking for opportunities to learn and to take care of ourselves and our families. The primary request, however, is that leaders begin to take ownership of their actions and act with accountability. When we look at political party perspectives as to the way forward, we see that accountability, employment opportunities, economic growth, and effective health care are desired culture values shared by the majority of political parties, a clear indicator that values unite while behaviors divide. When considering the values we would like to see in our daily working lives, our perspective has shifted. In 2009, we saw the need for achievement, efficiency, and professionalism. Today, those values have been replaced by coaching, mentoring, and community involvement. Perhaps the organizational desired culture values reveal the path that is needed, citizens as well as leaders doing their part to contribute to a greater good. Consider the thread of accountability. It is rising in importance among our personal values. It is the top focus in our working lives. It is the number one requested value that we want to see as our organizations move forward. And it is the number one value that people would like to see exhibited in our nation. Are we beginning to see that change starts with the individual? Are we asking for accountability from ourselves as well as our leaders? How do we use this value to guide our nation in our transformational journey? Ask yourself. Ask your representative. Take accountability. Start a values conversation. For more information, please contact the Barrett Values Centre or visit us online at www.valuescenter.com. Thank you.